The name is Zimmerman. David Zimmerman. We all grew up, well, we didn't all grow up wanting to be James Bond, but I loved, I loved that saying, Bond, James Bond. The name is Bond, James Bond. And I grew up loving the series. I mean, Goldfinger, to me, was the epitome of James Bond movies. It still is. Something about it is so classic. And for those who haven't seen it, my dear Performing Arts Studio West family, it is time to see it. Especially since we're home and watching different movies on Netflix and Amazon Prime and renting from here, there, and wherever. Watch those James Bonds. I'd love to find out too who was your favorite James Bond. I'll tell you who mine was. It was the late and great Sean Connery. I mean, I grew up in that time. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and he just had everything. That man was amazing. What an actor. What magic he had. He was Bond to me. But there were many other Bonds, and everybody has their favorite Bond. Today, I want to show you a clip from my personal 2 favorite James Bond movies. Now, it's hard to say that the second one is an actual favorite James Bond movie. It's more of just one of my favorite movies because I grew up loving it. And it's wacky and fun and crazy, but we'll talk about that a little later. The first one is a true James Bond movie, and it's You Only Live Twice. You only live twice. Oh my gosh. Watching all these different James Bond films and then seeing this one. I remember seeing it when I was, I don't know, about 12, somewhere around there, 11, 12. And I saw it in a double feature in a movie theater, I think with Thunderball. I'm not sure what it was. It might have been Diamonds Forever. But I know I saw a couple. They had, where you saw double features. Oh, so great. Actually, some of you don't know about the double features, but some of us do know. Something about You Only Live Twice. Number one, the songs, the music. I mean, John Barry, the original composer of all those James Bond movies. It was incredible. And each song, I'd say 90% of those, 95% of all the songs are just incredible. There were a few that I went, what? But most of them you would just be excited to see and hear what's going to be the new song, and let's see like a video for it, or how the opening credits come about. So some of you understand what I'm talking about. Some of you are going, what, James Bond? I'm pretty sure most people have seen a James Bond movie. I don't know, but I want to show you the trailer for my favorite James Bond, You Only Live Twice. And there's just a mix of the best of Bond. And it was a little wacky. There were moments that we would go, but it was pure James Bond. And the women were beautiful and the men were beautiful. And the fighting scenes and the villains and oh my God, and the pussycat. Anyway, enjoy and check this out. You Only Live Twice.
Welcome, Honorable 007. He's the one and only Sean Connery.
Welcome to Japan, Mr. Bond.
He's bigger than life, facing 1,000 deaths. And you only live twice, and twice is the only way to live.
We're too late.
Well, at least he died on the job.
Bond is dead.
Bond is alive. Kill Bond! Now!
No matter what the odds, they don't stand a chance against James Bond, Sean Connery, 007. Bond, the world's greatest gentleman agent with a license to kill. And he never misses a chance.
What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Bond is back, grabbing love where he finds it.
Like a lamb to the slaughter.
Everywhere. Bond rises in the east. The odds, 1,000 to 1, but they don't stand a chance.
Get down!
All this is just a drop in the ocean. The best yet from the film creators of 007.
Tiger said, from now on, you must do everything in Japanese style.
Everything?
I just so many things in that clip. I mean, just amazing. I'm not going to go into depth in case you haven't seen this film, but there were moments that were just boom, boom, boom. So many moments in that film that just made me feel like, yeah, this is it. This is like one of, my top 10 favorite movies. And I've been saying that in this series that I'm doing about movies and films. There's no assignment that you have to do on this, but if you want to share with me, I would love to find out the name of your favorite Bond. Now that you've seen that clip, which some of you've seen before, and maybe now you're going, oh my God, yes, how great. And again, Sean Connery. Oh. Anyway, now I want to show you a clip from another one of my favorite movies. And this is James Bond, and but it's not James Bond. It's a takeoff on James Bond, but it was the title of a real Ian Fleming novel. And for those who don't know, Ian Fleming was the author of all the James Bond novels. Very exciting time. And to imagine that we're still having Bond movies come out after all these years. So I'm gonna, without saying much here, I'm going to say one thing, that the cast in this, I can't speak because it had David Niven, Deborah Kerr, Woody Allen was in it, and my favorite of all time, Peter Sellers. I mean, he will always be, I think, in my top 3 favorite actors. He made me laugh, as we saw in the Pink Panther Strikes Again clip. One of the funniest movies in my estimation of all time. And one of the, I mean, he was a genius. I heard that this movie, I mean, the movie had 5 directors. So you got to think about that, about all these different things and a mishmash of stuff. And it felt like a mishmash, and it was like an acid trip. Not that I've ever taken acid. And I tell you what, I never will. My drug of choice is sugar, and I'm staying away from that too. So, but you know, it was one of those 60s groovy kind of crazy things. And I'm going to stop talking. And here is the wonderful trailer for Casino Royale.
Casino Royale is too much for one James Bond. Join the Casino Royale fun movement.
Mr. Bond, I'm Lieutenant Mathis of the Special Police.
Peter Sellers is James Bond.
These are my credentials.
They appear to be in order. Ursula Andress is James Bond. David Niven is James Bond. Woody Allen is James Bond.
My doctor says I can't have bullets enter my body at any time. What if I said I was pregnant?
Joanna Pettit is James Bond.
Rather warm in here, don't you think?
Cool it, Charlie.
Casino Royale is too much for one James Bond. Orson Welles is the heaviest heavy of Smirch. Dahlia Lavi is James Bond.
I'm the new secret weapon.
Guns and knives. We're fighting for our lives.
Casino Royale is too much for one James Bond.
Next.
Terence Cooper is James Bond. Barbara Boucher is James Bond. Casino Royale is indestructibly wild.
Hello, sailor.
Indescribably funny.
Oh, you like that sort of thing, eh?
Join the Casino Royale fun movement.
I can watch that movie over and over again. And okay, let me tell you, for the longest time, the #1, of course, I grew up having albums. You know what an album is? An actual, you know, turntable that you put the record on. The soundtrack for Casino Royale was the most sought after soundtrack ever during that time. And I finally got it. I framed it. It was like, it just, you know, I wish I had it with me right now. I have it in storage right now, but, and the music for that, I mean, that wasn't John Barry, but that was Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. And then, of course, oh my God, Burt Bacharach. I have to say, if that is a James Bond theme, The Look of Love was the song that was like, I mean, they had the theme song for Casino Royale, but the love song for it was The Look of Love. And oh my God, classic. And that scene, take a look.
Mr. Evelyn Tremble?
Yes, that's right.
Isn't Evelyn a girl's name?
No, it's mine, actually. Do you know me from somewhere?
Your book, Tremble and Baccarat. I've studied it very closely. At night. In my bed.
Is that where you study it?
There are several passages you describe in your book, which I don't fully understand.
Which passes are these?
Oh, they're all marked. I would have to have my book. Your book.
And my book is in...
My bed.
You're winning tonight.
I'll in my car for you.
Yes?
Hello. It's me, Evelyn Tremble.
Oh, hello, Mr. Tremble. Can you hold on for a moment? Eric, don't forget to empty the deep freeze first thing in the morning, okay? Oh, hello, Mr. Tremble. I'm so sorry to keep you waiting, but I was just seeing someone off. Come right up, all right?
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So nice of you to come.
My pleasure.
This way.
The look of love is in your eyes. A look your smile can't disguise. The look of love, it's saying so much more than just words could ever say. And what my heart has heard, well, it takes my breath away. I can hardly wait to hold you, feel my arms around you. How long I have waited just to love you. Now that I've found you, you've got the look of love. It's on your face, the look that time can't erase.
Hello.
Hello. That's Lord Nelson, isn't it?
Yes, isn't he beautiful?
Yes.
And do you know what he said?
What?
England expects every man to do his duty.
So he did, yes. But, this is Mayfair. Lord Nelson's in Trafalgar Square, surely.
No, not anymore. He's mine. Haven't you read the papers today?
I don't normally get them quite so early.
I get him before they're printed.
Oh, well, I suppose you can do anything if you have money.
Why don't you come down to me?
Thank you very much.
Lovely place you've got down there.
Sit here.
I do so like to feel comfortable whatever I'm doing.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. The more relaxed the muscles, the better the synchronization between mind and body.
I should think you're frightfully synchronized, Mr. Tremble. Martini?
What about them?
I was about to offer you one. Things I didn't understand too well in your book. Let me see. Was it in chapter 7 or chapter 6?
Chapter 6, probably. Though, of course, it could have been chapter 7. Have you got the book, or is it still in your bed?
I believe it is.
we better go right through the book, hadn't we?
You get many complaints from the neighbors?
And Ursula Andress. Oh my God. And for those Bond lovers, and for those who don't know, the first Bond girl, period, in film was Ursula Andress in the first James Bond film, Dr. No. See, there's so much for you to explore if you haven't seen this series, and it's so fun, so fun. But Ursula Andress in this, and in this, I mean, it's her voice, and it's so seductive. And that scene, and as you could see, it turns funny. I mean, to have the beauty and stunning beauty of Ursula Andress and the comic genius timing of Peter Sellers, and just mesh them together. And then you have the bad guy, Orson Welles. Orson Welles. If you don't know who Orson Welles is, look him up. Oh, and then, you know, I could keep on going about everybody in this movie. Everybody was wacky, fun. Dahlia LaVey. I mean, you know, I have to actually, for myself, go research and see what else she's done, because I just remember that she was stunning. I had a crush on everybody in this movie. Anyway, watch some of these movies if you want. Have fun, especially during this time that we're all going through quarantine. And we're going to do a few of these just to get away from the regular Meet the Biz interviews and schmoozing time. And just for you to take a peek at some of my favorite films. And thank you. Enjoy. And here's something for you to peek at on the way out.
My name is Bond.
Bond.
It's Bond. Bond. It's Bond. It's Bond.
James Bond.
I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond. Good morning. My name's Bond. James Bond.
Solitaire.
My name's Bond. James Bond. My name is Bond. James Bond.
Can I help you?
Yes, my name is Bond. James Bond. Oh, by the way, we haven't been properly introduced, Melina. My name is Bond. James Bond.
Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
My name is Bond. James Bond.
Well, actually, Captain, I'm with the British Secret Service. The name is Bond. James Bond.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond.
Thank you, Mr.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
The new banker, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Em told me she was sending someone. Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
And Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Hello?
Mr. White, we need to talk.
Who is this?
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
So you're a British spy. Do you have a name?
The name's Bond. James Bond.